Have you ever had an instance where you sent an email that perhaps you didn't want to go? Maybe you sent it to the wrong person, forgot to put a file attachment in there. You got an email back while you were composing the email that had additional information that you needed to respond to. Or on the off chance, maybe you were having a bad day and responded improperly and with an improper tone. You might have tried to use the Outlook message recall feature, and you might have also noticed that when you do that, all that feature does is let everybody know you're trying to recall a message. It does nothing to actually recall the message. You can't recall a message. So how do we combat that? How do we build a solution that's going to help us through that? One of the ways you can do that is you can create a rule to defer outbound mail. And we'll go ahead and do that for you now. Now from the Home tab, the Rules button should be right here on the toolbar, and you can manage rules and alerts. But just in case it's not, let me remind you that you can use this Tell Me What You Want to Do box to find any command in Outlook. So we're just going to type in rules, and it's going to bring up rules, and I'm going to click on Manage Rules and Alerts. And this brings up the Rules and Alerts dialog, and I'm going to click on New Rule. The new rule will bring up the rule wizard, and you'll see there's a number of options we can choose from to start our rule. But we're going to start from a blank rule and apply the rule on messages I send. So we click Next here. And it's going to bring us to a box that shows us all kinds of additional values that we can set. But in this case, we want this rule to work on every message that we send. So we're just going to click Next. That's going to bring up a message here that alerts us that this rule will be applied to every message you send. Is this correct? Yes, we want this to apply to every message that we send. So we hit Yes. And what do you want to do with this message? Now you can choose a number of options here as well, but what we're going to do is we're going to defer delivery by a number of minutes. And when I check this box, you're going to notice that this shows up down here. So I click this, and now it's down here. So it's apply this rule after I send a message, defer delivery by a number of minutes. And this number of minutes, a number of, is a link. So I'm going to click that, and I can defer it by as many minutes as I'd like. So it's currently set at 1. I'm going to make this 2 minutes, so I have a 2-minute warning. You could make it 10 if you wanted to, but 2 is sufficient for me. So we click OK, and you'll notice that it changed down here. Now it's defer delivery by 2 minutes. We click Next again, and it asks, are there any exceptions? Well, do you want an exception? I mean, do you want to be able to instantly send a message if you need to? In my case, I do, so I'm going to create an exception. I'm going to say, except if it's marked as importance, and we'll see that's a link again. So it dropped it down here, except if it's marked as importance, and importance is the link. I click that, and I'm going to change that to high. So what I've got is a completed rule here that's apply this rule after I send a message, defer delivery by 2 minutes, except if it's marked as high importance. That's going to give me some options when I create my message. So I hit Next, and now I have to name the rule. So I'm going to put delay send by 2 minutes. And I'm going to have this rule turned on, and I click Finish. When you click Finish, you're going to get another alert, and this alert says this rule will only run when you check your email in Outlook. If Outlook isn't running, this rule won't work for email you check online or from another device. And what that means is it's a client-side rule. So if you are using your phone to respond to email or to craft emails, there'll be no delay. If you're using another computer, say you have a work and a home computer, and you set this up at work, when you go home, you would have to set it up there as well in order to have the delay. It doesn't go across computers. It's client-side, not server-side. Or if you checked online through Web Outlook, obviously the rule wouldn't work there as well. But it will tell you that this is a client-side rule after it's finished as well. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And you'll see it's right here. Delay send by 2 minutes, client only. Okay. So we've got our rule. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. Our rule has been created. Now I always like to test my rules. And the easiest way for me to test my rule is to send myself a message. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to send myself a message. And I'm right here in my list, and my subject is going to be test with delay, and we've got a test with delay, and I hit send. And you'll notice down here in my outbox, that message is going to be sitting waiting to send. So it's paused. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up because I forgot to put anything in the content. So we'll put something in our content box. Now, some people make the mistake, right? They've gone ahead and they've created this email and they're ready to send it, and they just close it. And it says, do you want to save your changes? We'll show that over here. Yes, I want to save my changes. And this email, the way that it currently sits, will not go anywhere. And here's why. It's in edit mode. If you look at the icon that's right above the pointer here, this is edit mode. We didn't tell it to send. So when we edited it, we did not click the send button. So to ensure that it's going to send, click the send button. You'll see that now this is the send icon up here, and this is going to go ahead and send. Now, the other thing we want to test is the other part of the rule, which is the exceptions. So I'm going to go ahead and send myself another one. Send no delay and something. Okay. But this time, I'm going to set this a high importance. So I flagged it as high importance. And what we should see when we hit send is that shows up in the outbox. It's right there. But it's sent instantly. And it will end up in my inbox, while this one is still continuing to wait. So that's the really big difference here, is one will decide to send with no delay, which is what it did, and the other one is still waiting. So when I mark something as urgent, it will go out immediately. When I just do a normal email message, I will have time for this to sit and wait. And that gives me time, if I wanted to delete it, to modify it, to do whatever I needed to do with it. But what doesn't happen is I don't accidentally send emails. And this should be sending very shortly. So now there's nothing in my inbox. What should happen is very quickly this should show up in my inbox. So there was nothing in my outbox because it was sent. Then it shows up in my inbox, and you'll see that the test with delay came in after the test with no delay. So that means my rules are working as I expected them to work. This message was sent with a delay. The other message was not sent with a delay, and it works. And this is a great way for you to help yourself ensure that you have time to adjust your emails before they send. And you might find that 2 minutes is too long. Normally I set mine to 1 minute, to be honest with you, because I know very quickly if I've made a mistake. But you might also think that 2 minutes is too short. Maybe you want to set yours to 5 minutes. It's all up to you, but this rule will allow you to delay sending your emails from Outlook.